Hi everyone and welcome to Wild Things. Well, the Black Cockatoo is an icon that used to grace southwestern Australia in numbers so many that they darken the sky. Today is a very different story. Now an endangered species, the Borden's Black Cockatoo is under threat from being shot illegally in Western Australia every year. Joining us today is Katherine Howard from WWF to tell us a little bit more about this iconic species and the issues they face. Welcome to the show, Katherine.
Thanks, Marnie.
Now, look, you've brought a very special guest with you today. Tell us a little bit about this gorgeous bird.
Okay, well, this is Marnie. Now, she's actually a Carnaby's Black Cockatoo, which is very closely related to the Borden's Black Cockatoo. There are only two species of white-tailed Black Cockatoo. As you can see, she's got these white panels on her tail, and they're both only found here in southwest WA, and they are unfortunately both threatened with extinction. So Marnie, she actually lives at the Black Cockatoo Rehabilitation Centre. They do a lot of great work rescuing injured Black Cockatoos around this part of the state. Marnie was unfortunately hit by a car, which does happen to quite a lot of Black Cockatoos. They're quite clumsy when they take off.
Right.
And if they're feeding or drinking on the side of the road, then that can happen all too easily. So normally the Rehabilitation Centre nurses as many as they can back to health and re-releases them into the wild, but unfortunately Marnie's wing was broken and she can't fly, so she can't be released.
Shame. So she's being used as an education animal, obviously, and
that's right.
And people can get up and close and see what a beautiful bird they are.
Yeah, that's right. She works pretty hard at that job. Yeah,
she's doing a good job. Now, I was going to ask you the difference between Borden's and Carnaby's cockatoos. How do you tell them apart?
It is very difficult unless you can get a good look at the beak, which is much longer and thinner in the Borden's cockatoo. But a handy hint: if you're in Perth and you're on the Swan Coastal Plain part of Perth, it's more likely to be a Carnaby's cockatoo.
Okay.
And if you're up in the hills, it could be either.
Oh, right.
The call is a bit different as well, but you need to sort of get your ear in to tell the difference.
I have heard the call, and it's pretty raucous and out there, but it's an amazing call.
Haunting, Marnie. I think is what we go. Yeah.
Haunting's much nicer. I must admit, I do wind down my window to listen to them if I'm driving past. They're amazing.
Catches your attention once you know it. Yeah. Right.
Now, look, tell us about the threats. Obviously, as with a lot of animals facing, endangerment, habitat loss is a big one.
That's right.
But as I mentioned in the introduction, they are being illegally shot. What's the story there?
That's right. Well, habitat loss, as you say, is the main problem for both Carnaby's and Borden's Black Cockatoos. They've both lost extensive amounts of habitat to agriculture, mining, forestry, and now urban development is taking a lot of their habitat, particularly in and around Perth and the other urban areas in southwest WA. Right. But with the Borden's Black Cockatoo, as their native food sources have declined, they've learned to feed on apple and pear orchards.
Right.
And they are a significant pest to apple and pear orchards. They can do thousands of dollars worth of damage, so you can understand the frustration that a grower must feel. It is illegal to kill any Black Cockatoo in WA, but unfortunately, netting, which is the most effective way to exclude birds from crops entirely, is very expensive, and it's just not a financially viable option for many orchardists, when you're up to $40,000 a hectare.
Goodness. Now, I know that you do have a netting assistance scheme. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, we don't have it yet. I mean, that's what we'd really like to see brought in, and that's what we've been encouraging the WA government to establish, a netting assistance scheme to help orchardists get over that financial barrier, to erect exclusion nets around their crops, and we think that this could be a win-win situation both for the endangered species and for local horticulture. And in fact, the New South Wales government recently brought in a similar scheme to help orchardists net their crops against flying foxes. Okay. And we think if the New South Wales government can do it, then so can ours.
Oh, well, that's a fantastic idea, and obviously just needs a little bit more support behind it.
That's right, yeah.
We just saw a beautiful display of her wings. Yes. They're a really powerful bird, aren't they? They're quite big when you get up close to them.
That's right, and that beak is a bolt cutter.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm happy to leave my fingers on this side.
Oh no, she wouldn't bite, but she could.
So Carnaby's, obviously, if you're in Perth, you're likely to see them. Borden's, if you're in the hills or down south.
Or down around Donnybrook or Manjimup or those fruit-growing regions. So if you are in those areas, in those fruit-growing regions, if you do witness any illegal activity, obviously don't try and deal with it yourself.
Sure.
If you find any, dead birds or hear gunshots, or you think there's something suspicious going on, the best thing to do is to call the Wildcare hotline.
Okay.
Which is 94749055.
Okay, great.
And that's also the number to call if you ever find any injured wildlife as well. You can call it 24 hours a day, and they'll help you figure out what to do.
All right, well, excellent. Thank you very much for bringing on Harmony and telling us all about the issues. And if you would like any more information about black cockatoos and how you can help them, go to our website at www.thecouch.com.au. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. Until next time, keep it wild.